Battlegrounds is an absolute phenomenon with some 13 million players worldwide. But the game is being hit with an epidemic of cheaters and it is driving some players away. And many are now wondering what's actually being done about it.
Back in November last year, PUBG Corp announced it would be partnering with the colossal Chinese corporation Tencent to get PUBG approved in China. This is a huge deal as Tencent are in fact the biggest investment company in the world right now. That's investment company, not video game company. Tencent made it clear from the beginning that putting an end to the cheating epidemic would be one of their top priorities when the PUBG deal goes through, and they weren't playing around.
Ahead of PUBG's official debut in China later this year, Tencent has actually enlisted the help of the Chinese police to root out the cheat makers that create and distribute cheat software. So far, the company has helped law enforcement uncover at least 30 cases and arrest 120 people suspected of designing cheats for video games. People convicted of disrupting computer networks face 5 years imprisonment or more under Chinese law. Back in 2010, a couple were fined 3 million yuan or $465,000 and sentenced to 9 years in prison for selling cheat software.
Players are using the PUBG leaderboards themselves as advertising space for their cheat engine. Right now, 8 of PUBG's top 10 players have names such as Contact QQ574352 as their names. QQ is a messaging service that's quite similar to WhatsApp here in the West. Everyone has their own private account with a 9-digit contact code attached to it. Players can read these messages on the leaderboards and then contact the cheat dealers to buy a variety of different cheats. One vendor offered a $15 program called Jiying that camouflaged players and granted a bird's eye view of the battleground. Another QQ dealer sent a message to customers asking them to, quote, maintain control and keep kills within 15 people per game in an effort to avoid rousing suspicion. The irony of the situation and the catch for these cheaters is that Tencent actually owns QQ.
The company said in an official statement in December that the crackdown on cheaters, quote, shows Tencent's determination to resolve the issue of cheating software on PUBG. Tencent promises to use the law and technology to help create equal and fair playing fields. So Tencent's efforts have led to 120 arrests. PUBG owners Bluehole and their anti-cheats partner BattleEye have banned 1.5 million accounts so far for cheating, which is a huge 6% of the total PUBG community. So Tencent are one of the biggest companies in the world, the biggest investment company in the world, so it's probably not a surprise that they own this game, and also, they happen to use the flipping messaging service that the cheaters are using to help distribute their cheats. There's a bit of irony in there, but if your company is that big, then they've kind of got tendrils everywhere and you kind of can't escape them, and they've shown that to be the case because it's led to 120 arrests for creating cheat software. I mean, that's pretty serious.
How they've used, what's it say that they did? They used the law and technology to help fight RoboCop? No, what they trash. How Tencent are helping the law enforcement, no one actually knows, but I guess I thought that maybe they have been keeping an eye on the QQ conversations or something like that. Kind of like the equivalent of imagine texting your mates on WhatsApp. I've been using WoW or Overwatch cheats, and then WhatsApp snitch on you to the cops, and then you get arrested for 5 years. Sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? That's the thing. At first I was when I read the story, I was like, well, there are quite a lot of cheaters on Battlegrounds and they are pretty annoying. And I thought, but would I rather not enjoy Battlegrounds as much or someone else be in jail for 5 years? I'm like, that's actually pretty bit weird, that, isn't it?
I think it's interesting how they've actually, the cheat creators have actually used the leaderboards themselves as you too could be in the top 10 if you contact this number now. It's quite ingenious in its own way, and the way these things kind of pan out, it's always they've got to be creative, I guess, if they want to make any money off of it. It's clearly a huge problem if there's that many of the top 10 are advertising the cheats they use to get there.
Exactly. Do you know what though? It's really off-putting, not just for existing players, but for new players. Imagine starting a game, you look at the leaderboard, first thing you see is that it makes you feel like it's not a very well-maintained game. And when Battlegrounds and the Battle Royale genre's got stiff competition from the likes of Fortnite and stuff like that, they need to keep the shit on lock. So obviously Tencent are cracking down, BattleEye cracking down. I think there's loads of people calling for things like region locks and stuff like that. Whether that'll happen or not, who knows? But the fact that this epidemic of cheaters is so obvious, you can see it by clicking on the leaderboards there for everyone to see. Just a bit bit off-putting, really. It makes you not want to play it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll go back to Tencent just for a second. They are the company that's kind of on top of all this. They're the ones that have got the rights to distribute PUBG in China, and they also happen to own the messaging service and everything. But they've also got these multiple other battle royale games, like mobile versions. They've got like knockoff versions of Battleground. They've got the official one. They also have a share in Epic Games, who are coming out with
the
Fortnite.
Competition.
Yeah, they've just got, they're like a giant squid or something. They've just got all these flipping tentacles everywhere. All of this is taking place under their watch, and I think it's going to be, if you're a cheat maker making cheats for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, it's going to be quite difficult for you to continue to do this. And this is probably the impression they want to get out there by arresting 120 people, because it just will send kind of shockwaves through that core of cheaters. Like, we're a huge company, we're on top of all this. That technology you're using to spread your cheats, we own that as well. The cheaters will always find a way. There's a lot of the analysts have been saying about this, is you can't stay on top of this. There'll always be something new. If you get on top of something one day, the next day there'll be something new replacing it immediately. So it's going to be a constant battle for the future. As long as the battle royale genre is as huge as it is, there's always
profit there to be had. You're totally right. The fact that I saw just BattleEye, not Tencent or anything.
Yeah.
6% of the players were banned. That's only the ones that got caught. That's fucking huge. And if every one of them paid $15 to the same guy, that guy would have made like 150 million from cheats. There's a huge rife profit either in that, or you're winning to get more money and battle points to get stuff for loot crates. It's like becoming an economy.
That's a whole other strand to it, yeah.
It's big, and it's very profitable if you're a cheat maker. But now there's some real consequences. Either the Tencent Epic Games branch will sue the out of you, or the Tencent Battlegrounds thing will put you in jail for 5 years. So risky.
So there you go. So there's another big update on the cheating situation in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Let us know what you think of this down below. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and please do subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every day. There's another video right there which you can watch right now if you want, and a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.